Welcome back, everyone, here to the Bronx Talk Show. Today is April 28th, and the Yankees just picked up a series win against the Milwaukee Brewers. It was quite the series. The Yankees' bats were electric. They scored 36 runs in the series, and on Saturday and Sunday, they scored 15 runs in both games. Saw Jose Trevino on the mound. It just seemed like everyone through the lineup, 1 through 9, was on a tear. I mean, you looked up and it was boom, someone was scoring. It makes for very entertaining baseball, especially if you're a Yankees fan. And it was really nice to see the Yankees break out in that fashion, especially since the series they had earlier in the week, which is where we get started, against the Oakland Athletics. I was at one of the games. I think I was at the game. Yeah, they won 4-3 or something like that. Was a home in that game. But yeah, pretty disappointing series, especially since you're at home facing a lowly athletics team. There's just some questionable things in that series, some not good things. It was definitely frustrating, I'd say.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those. I was actually kind of happy that we do it every Sunday and not after every series because I think that would have probably been a pretty doom and gloom episode. Because I mean, splitting a series to the A's is bad, especially with the losses that they had. I mean, getting shut out through what was it, 10 innings in Game One. That alone, I mean, even if we won the series, I think we're still looking at that game and wondering what's going on. And then basically to do the same thing in what was it, Game Three, where they score 1 run, left the bases loaded with no outs once, and then they had another one basically just like that. It was two really bad losses against the A's, and I think we said last Sunday that we were looking to potentially sweep them because
Mm.
they're a bad baseball team. And I mean, we saw it. Defensively, they were a mess. Their lineup really just had nothing going on in there. But look, they split. Boone did get ejected. That was kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's
Probably
weird.
one of the wildest ejections I've ever seen. And what was the most annoying thing was that the ump couldn't admit it after. And
Yeah,
it was so clear what happened that the fan said something. The umpire thought it was either Boone or maybe a coach, but he throws him out. But then in this post game press conference, he tries to say that he heard it from the other end of the dugout, which is just, I mean, that's just not true. Of course, you can't prove that because there's no cameras down there, but it was just a clear cop out. But yeah, maybe that was just bad mojo for the series.
yeah, that was a day game, Monday day game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't fun. They lost that one. That was a ridiculous ejection. I don't think there's been an update on Hunter Wendelstadt, the guy who threw Aaron Boone out. But I think everyone basically universally agreed, unless you're like a diehard Yankee hater or something, that there has to be some action or some accountability there. I mean, we always see managers and players getting fined, suspended, but what about the umpires too? And I get they have a union, but we're all human beings. We all make mistakes, and we all have to pay the price for some mistakes. Whether you're young, you act up in school, you get a detention, whatever, right? But I feel like there definitely has to be action placed because you can't do that, and you can't just throw Aaron Boone out for something a fan said. I mean, then otherwise all fans, are in jeopardy and bad for the game. I mean, should we just go back to COVID 2020 where there's no fans in the stands? Because if you're Aaron Boone, you got to be like, what now? I have to worry about what Joe Schmo who's had 2 beers deep saying like to the umpire. I mean, it's a part of the game. Fans heckle. I think there has to be action and some disciplinary action taken there by Hunter Wendelstead. And, whether it's a fine or some sort of suspension, I think it has to be done because you can't just throw someone out for something a fan said. Aaron Boone has no control over that human being. He never even knows the guy. All right. It's pretty ridiculous. And to be honest, Christian, it's not even the fan's fault. As long as he's not saying anything that's like hate speech or hateful, where, it's something you just can't say, he's fine. He's just heckling the ump and saying bad call, this and that. That's fine. It's a part of the game. Fans heckle. It's entertaining. as long as it's not like some sort of hate speech thing. So I don't even think the fans should get in trouble. I think
Yeah.
it's just lazy and it's childish. It's childish. You're a grown man who's been umping Major League Baseball games for years now. You're a grown man. All right. You can't be that sensitive. And I think, this season especially, the umpires have just been pretty ridiculous with ejections, calls, so on and so forth. Yeah. But yeah, it's childish. That definitely can't happen there. But yeah, it was a lowly series. I mean, lost 2-1 on Monday, and then Yanks pick up a couple wins, and even the game they won, Christian, on Tuesday, they scored all 4 runs in the first inning.
Yeah.
Right, like a lot of zeros, and then you're like, all right, fine, we'll take the series sweep, but just they didn't do it, and they had opportunities, and then that's where I was starting to get like, like I didn't like what was going on. But yeah, that can't happen. You go through a struggle or something like that, and you look back on these type of games, and you're like, those are the games you have to win. But who knows? I mean, maybe the Athletics are actually onto something, and they did just go to Baltimore and win a series there, helped us out.
Yeah. Hey, one thing I'll say, the Athletics closer,
Oh my
Mason
God.
Miller, he is disgusting.
Oh my God.
I mean, he made Juan Soto look lost up there. I mean, he was blowing fastballs by him. That was impressive. I mean, he's young. We'll see the season he has, but he is ridiculous stuff. I mean, I think maybe it was, I guess game 3 when they were down, I felt hopeless. I mean, Volpe had like a hanging slider that he puts in play. Of course, they just can't make the play, but other than that, I mean, it was just fastballs right by every hitter. He's gross.
Yeah, he's really good. I think there was just some, even the pitching. I mean, we didn't give up a ton of runs, but just some mistakes to really low hitters. I mean, we're giving up 2-run shots to Nick Allen. You actually, you got to look yourself in the mirror. I mean, that's can't be giving up home runs to Nick Allen. That can't happen. But hey, it is what it is, and you got to move on from it. You play 162 games. It's a part of baseball. It's unfortunate the way the series unfolded. But Christian, the Yankees offense broke out over the weekend. Friday, I guess we'll start with this game quickly. Friday was an interesting one. Yanks go up 2-0. Juan Soto homers, opposite field. Alex Verdugo homers. And I'm like, all right, nice. Here we go. But yeah, the Yankees just they didn't get it done. Went into extra innings there and lost. It was not fun, and there's some definitely questionable things there. Should the Yankees have brought in Clay Holmes for another inning? I don't know. I mean, I certainly think they could have. Boone said Holmes was on pace for 80 games. Didn't go to Hamilton because apparently he had arm soreness. I don't know, but it was just one of those like Yankee losses, Christian, that we've seen so many times throughout the last 3 seasons. There was a Katie Sharp stat. I'm trying to look for it right now. But it was something like the Yankees here it is. The Yankees are 3-15 in road extra inning games since 2022. That's the worst record among all teams over the last 3 seasons. Like I said, that's from Katie Sharp. They just seem to really lose it when they play in extra innings on the road. Christian, I think you and me both remember that debacle in Seattle.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, years ago.
What was it? It was 0-0 just the whole time,
Yeah.
and oh my god. I mean, I know this is nitpicking, but when the Yankees went up 6-5 in the 10th, I don't get why Volpe wasn't bunting. I mean, you have the man on second. You're already up a run. So I get the logic for when it's tied, right? As the away team, ideally, 1 run's not going to be enough. But you're already up 1. You have your fastest guy in the lineup at bat. And you have Juan Soto on deck, who's likely going to be able to get the run in from third. I know it's one play, but the Volpe not bunting there really did not make sense.
Yeah,
I mean, Soto flies out. So I mean, hypothetically, if you want to play that out, Yankees go up 6 or 7-5.
Yeah, sorry I cut you off there. Yeah, I think the Yankees didn't get a runner. They get a runner. No, I don't know. So yeah, Stan doubled as the 9 hitter,
Yeah, and
and
then it was
then
on Volpe.
yeah, it was yeah. There was it's really questionable. And 3-15 in road extra innings. I mean, obviously, advantage is going to go to the home team when you have the worst record in the league. The worst record in road extra inning games for the last, dating back to 2022. It's not good. And we just see that so many times. The Yankees it's like they avoid it. It's like don't score, and then what was it? The 11th, I want to say. Yankees didn't get that run in, and then we basically all knew the game was over. But they just really struggle in those spots. We've seen a lot of bad baseball being played. Me and Christian referencing that game in Seattle. I don't know how many of you remember that, but the Yankees made like 15 base running errors in the matter of like 2 innings. They couldn't get the run in. It was like the most pathetic thing I've ever seen in my life. And they seem to just not be able to win these games. And it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. The Yankees definitely need to work on that. But not only just from an offensive standpoint, the bullpen usage was weird. Michael Tompkin coming into the game. I mean, the guy's been DFA'd 4 times. I mean, he's not like, I don't know. I think that definitely could have been handled differently. Especially since the way Boone said it after the game about Holmes, but then, coming out today with using so many relievers in a game the Yankees were up so much, it's sort of contradicting in a sense. But I don't know. It's frustrating. But it's something Yankees definitely need to work on.
Yeah. Thankfully, then any offensive concerns or any of that went away because Yankees put up 15 on Saturday and Sunday. Probably the biggest thing is Judge. Seems like he's completely back, and whether you're concerned or not, it's a positive, right? Our captain playing like the captain. Verdugo, I think it was Saturday where they made the lineup switch, and then Verdugo got put in the 4 spot. He has a big game, kind of like the dynamic too, with Verdugo following Judge opposed to Rizzo. If Rizzo gets going, then sure, you can make the argument to switch that back. But I think there's something to be said for, you're going to Juan Soto and Aaron Judge, who are 2 guys that can hit the ball 500 feet. And then you have Alex Verdugo, who can kind of just use his bat and put a ball in play, create hits. So I don't know. It worked out, obviously, 2 games in a row. And I think those were probably the 2 best games we could have asked for because offense was really bad, really, other than those 2 games this week.
Yeah, and they came through in a big way. And, maybe the lineup switch helped Anthony Rizzo. I mean, he had back-to-back 3-hit games this series. The home runs, he has 4 home runs in his last 6 games, hit his 300th career homer today. He's looking good at the plate. I think he's brought his average up. I think coming into the series, Christian, he was batting like 240 something. He's up after the series. He's up to like 277. OPS is climbing up there. I think he raised his WRC plus something like like a 90. I think it was like Yankees Avenue post. It was like 98 to what now it's like.
Yeah, I think it was almost like 100. It was a huge jump.
Yeah. So I mean, he's really swinging the bat well, and Anthony Rizzo, I feel like this spot could be good for him, right? Because, we've seen Judge and Rizzo, that combo, back to back for so long, right? Really since like end of 2021. I mean, that's how it's been. Maybe a switch up could be nice, right? Give other teams something else to look at. And you got Anthony Rizzo in the middle of that lineup there. And, he's a really world-class hitter. And you can get Anthony Rizzo in some RBI situations. He's obviously has some at the top, but middle of the order, being able to use his skills, moving a runner over, putting the ball the other way, something like that. Who knows? This switch up could be very valuable for the Yankees. I think definitely in this series, it played to be very valuable. And 30 runs last 2 games. It was amazing to see. I mean, I actually haven't had a chance to look at the box scores, but they're probably a thing of beauty. I mean, everyone in that lineup hit. I think on Saturday, everyone in the Yankees lineup got a hit or got on base, and then same thing today. And it's sort of nice to see, like, we love our stars, but the Yankees are up so much in the seventh inning. They're pulling Judge and Soto, and they're putting in the backups. It was just amazing, and I feel like the Yankees really needed that. It's going to bring their confidence up, and it just shows you as a fan, and I think it shows the Yankees themselves, like, this is what their lineup can do. This is what their lineup has the potential of doing day in and day out. It's just that consistency factor. But the Yankees lineup is very good. It's not bad. But I think this is really going to like open their eyes and say, guys, we could do this. I mean, look at what we've done the last 2 days. Just got to keep doing what we're doing. And, maybe the Yankees got everyone hot at the right time. I mean, they had so many struggling hitters for a little bit there. Volpe, Rizzo, Torres. Torres really got to go in this series. So maybe they're all starting to get going, and the Yankees are going to go on a little bit of a winning streak here. But yeah, it was just amazing to see overall.
Yeah, and the guy who was the big part of it was Aaron Judge, and he's not just a baseball player, Ryan. He's a football player. He blocks a ball or I guess a basketball player. He blocks
Yeah.
the double play ball in the sixth. Would have been 2 outs, nobody on. He blocks the ball, and then Yankees go on and put up 6 or 7 with 2 outs
7, yeah.
in the sixth inning. So crazy play by Judge. He put his hand up, the ball deflects off the sliding net, and then the rest is history. But I mean, aside from that, he seems like he's found his swing, and I think everyone was kind of saying it. The home series against the Athletics, his at bats were clearly getting better and better. He had a lot of balls that were, it seemed like he just missed. His takes were getting a lot better. And then it kind of all started to click, I guess, in this series against Milwaukee. So great sign there from Judge. Maybe this is crazy, but maybe the balk homer got him going.
Yeah, I mean, maybe people were saying, like, was that intent? I don't think it was intentional. Like, I've seen Judge slide like that before. I think it's just the
It's
combo.
not. Yeah, he always does the hand.
Yeah,
I don't know if he does that to block or it's just instinct, but
yeah. I mean, he's
works.
also so tall. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So like that's why I could understand if you're a Milwaukee fan, but like I would have been upset if that got ruled like an interference because I've watched so many
Yeah.
Yankees, like that's what he does. Like that's what he does, and goes out there, just swats it down. And the Knicks were playing today. He's telling the boys, over there in Philadelphia, the Wells Fargo Center, let me show you how it's done. And for you Knicks fans out there, Knicks go up 3-1 in the series. Really embarrassing for Philadelphia sports. I mean, having one of the best players in basketball getting F word out of the stadium in their own stadium in Philadelphia. You don't see that. But that was really fun to see, me personally as a Knicks fan. But Yankees go out there, take care of business. The offense was phenomenal. Aaron Judge's last 7 games, 269, 406 on base percentage, slugging 654, has 3 home runs. And, that's what we're going to see from Aaron Judge because once he gets going, he can put a team on his back in an instant. And you'll see an immediate impact. And that's what we've seen so far. I guess the first 25 games, something like that, 3 home runs in the year. And then he doubles it really in his last 7 games with 3 more home runs, something like that. So the power is there. He's hitting balls really hard. And, Soto still looking amazing, looking phenomenal, as always. The Yanks get those 2 going, they're going to be unstoppable. Unstoppable if those 2 are on their A game because you just can't pitch to that. It's literally like an all-star lineup, 2 of the game's best hitters back-to-back. You can't really face that. So they went out, they took care of business, and, we saw Jose Trevino pitch as well. That was fun to see in the series. Some people were hoping for another, position player to pitch today. I was too. I thought that would have just been like a total rub it in your face moment, a
Yeah.
total embarrassment. I wanted to see that. Um, you know, I thought even today the bullpen usage was a little weird. I mean, you used so many relievers. You used Hamilton when they were up 6 runs. I don't know. I didn't really like that, but the Yankees lineup looked electric. It was so much fun to watch this series. And if they keep this up, I mean, this just shows you the type of team they can be because, they have one of the best lineups in the league, if not the best. The only thing is the consistency. But this just shows you what this Yankees lineup can do. And it was quite the beauty to watch.
Yeah, Aaron Judge is going to be at the heart of that. I mean, if Judge and Soto are going, that's all the Yankees need because you're going to have other guys that are going to get on base for those two. So, it's what we were dreaming about in the offseason, and I think this is really the first time we got to see it. And of course, they put up 15 runs. Thanks to the rest of the lineup too, but it's one of the deadliest hitter combos in baseball. So, I hope it keeps going. I think it will. I think anyone who was concerned about Judge, I hope you can put that away. I think me and Ryan were safely kept it level and didn't overreact because we've seen Aaron Judge do it for basically his whole career. And now he's here. But let's talk Carlos Rodon, Ryan.
Mm.
He
Yeah.
is he might be back to his ace level stuff, if not better.
Yeah, I mean, he looks amazing out there. He really just looks exceptional. The way he's mowing hitters down, the command is there. And I feel like there's a trust factor now that was missing with Carlos Rodon. A big thing we saw last year, Christian, was the control. Was really just an issue, right? He put a lot of runners on base. And, even if you have like ace level stuff, you're putting runners on base, you're bound to make a mistake at some point. Pitchers, even when pitchers have their amazing stuff, it's very rarely they'll go a whole game without making one mistake, right? But you make a mistake with runners on base, you get the big innings, right? You get the home runs, you get the big innings, and I think a big part of that was the control. He's just walking a ton of guys. It was not great, but his last 2 starts combined, Christian, this is against the Athletics and Milwaukee. He's went 13 innings. He's given up 3 hits, only 1 earned run, 1 walk, and has struck out 12 batters. That's in his last 2 combined starts, mowing down the Athletics and the Brewers. You'd say what you want about the Athletics, but Brewers are no joke squad. I mean, they got some hitters in there, right? I mean, they got Contreras, Adames. He went out there and really pitched really well. And then Christian, I was like, whoa, Carlos Rodon, 2 really, really good starts. And I'm like, he's been pitching great all year. I got to check the stats. So I go over MLB.com, Christian, 6 starts. He's 2-1, pitching to a 2.48 ERA in 32.2 innings. He's struck out 30 batters and has a 1.19 whip. Really, really good. He's looking amazing out there. He's being that ace, and he's stepping up in a time the Yankees really need him. The Yankees need an ace. They need someone out to go out there every 5th day and give them an amazing shot to win. And Carlos Rodon is doing that. In the absence of Garrett Cole, he's going out there and he's saying, guys, look, I'm the ace now. I mean, obviously he wants Garrett Cole back. Everyone as a Yankee fan wants Garrett Cole back on the mound because Garrett Cole is our ace. But Carlos Rodon saying, guys, I got this for right now. I got this. And he's going out there and doing that. And, Christian, a rival scout has, some high praise for Rodon. I was reading an article, and he was saying he looks stronger and healthier. I see that, too, in his stuff. But a big thing to Carlos Rodon's success this season, Christian, is his pitch usage. Now, you said it last year. I said it. A ton of people said it. Just 4-seam slider guy. 4-seam slider guy. And you just can't get away with just 2 pitches, really. It seemed like guys were just sitting on his stuff. He's added the cutter this year, Christian. He's thrown it 13.8%. Adding that cutter in there. He's taken away a little bit from his other pitches. So it's not as predictable up there at the plate. And I think the cutter has really changed Carlos Rodon's game.
Yeah, no doubt. And, I'm not going to pat ourselves on the back because I feel like everyone was saying this. The four seam slider, and, it can work, right? And it did work for him. But last year it didn't. And I think it would have been crazy to just go into this year and have the same game plan. But he didn't do that. Aside from, the health changes he made with slimming down, adding a new pitch, I think, was really all he needed. Because, now that he's throwing his slider and fastball a little bit less of the time, there's another thing for hitters to think about. And I also think his slider, then, both his slider and four seamer are so much more effective because, think about it from a hitter's perspective. Last year, you're just picking up spin on either a fastball or a slider. That's not that hard to do, even with a very talented pitcher like Carlos Rodon. Now that you have a cutter, which is basically a mix between the two, I mean that makes you so much better. I was saying in the offseason, either cutter or sinker. I think the cutter is even better pitch for him. It's basically in the mix or in the middle. If you're a hitter and you think you see the slider, and then the cutter comes, it jams you, or you think it's the four seam, then you're a little bit out in front. I mean, it just works so well with what he was. I'm actually shocked that he didn't do this sooner in his career. Like I think about, when he finished top 5 in Cy Young voting. If this guy had a cutter, then he could have been untouchable.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think about, but I think you just touched on it there. It's taking away from his other pitches. It's not just the fact that he added a cutter. It's that it's taking away from his other pitches, so he's way less predictable up there. Because, like you said, picking up a spin on a slider fastball, it's not that hard to do, and it's only 2 pitches, right? So, but the command has been there. I think there's also a new energy or new aura to Carlos Rodon on the mound. He seems a lot more focus and ready. I feel like last year was just kind of just beating him down and beating him down. It was, the Yankees were so bad. I don't know, but he stepped up at a big time when the Yankees need him. Going out there, and it's been really, really good for the Yankees. It's been exceptional to see for Carlos Rodon because Christian, I said it, going into the season. I said, look, I'll give Carlos Rodon a pass for last season. The Yankees team was terrible. I think even if Carlos Rodon pitched like the way we expected him to, I still don't think the Yankees would be in a place of contention, to be honest with you. I'm saying, look, it was a wash, whatever, you were injured, blah, blah, blah. But this year, I said it's a big year for Carlos Rodon. I mean, they went out there and paid this guy $162 million. You can't F it up. You can't. You really can't. These fans hate you forever if you do that. You can't. Ton of pressure. I can't imagine dealing with that, sleeping at night. But he put his head down. He got to work, and it's paying off. I mean, there's a long ways to go, but he's looked exceptional out there on the mound. And just to show you, this is 2023. These are the percentages. 2023, he threw his fastball 60% of the time, 60.4%. The slider 28.9, and then curveball 6.4, and changeup 4.3. We go over to this year, Christian. He's thrown his four-seamer 56.9% of the time, the slider 19.2%, the cutter 13.8%, and then the changeup and curveball somewhat similar, 6.6%, and then 3.4% there. But yeah, cutter's been a big pitch for him. Obviously seen an awesome, amazing Yankee legend throw one pitch, Christian, and that was the cutter, Mariano Rivera. A cutter has a very what's the word? Very hard place in my, what do they say? A very special place in my heart. A very special place in my heart as a Yankee fan. You got to love the cutter. And Carlos Rodon loves the cutter. I love the cutter. Yankee fans love the cutter. And his Yankee teammates love the cutter because Carlos Rodon has stepped up in a time when the Yankees have really needed him. And he's pitching like an ace. And, as a Yankees fan, I couldn't imagine, what that's like, the pressure on him to come out and succeed this year. So I give a tip of the cap to Carlos Rodon and a round of applause because he has pitched brilliant so far this season.
Yeah, keep it going. I mean, once Cole comes back, this is a playoff rotation. Let's talk bullpen. This is not a playoff bullpen. Looking at it, it's very weak. I mean, Clay Holmes obviously having a phenomenal year, 13 scoreless innings. Other than that, I mean, you look at the bullpen, and I don't think it's fair to just, be like, oh, who are the names? Because especially with bullpen guys, eh, for example, like Mason Miller, probably one of the filthiest guys in baseball. A lot of people will not know who that is, but I'm going to kind of do it because you go through that. I mean, Dennis Santana, Caleb Ferguson, Victor Gonzalez, Nick Burdi, Ron Marinaccio, Cody Petit, Michael Tonkin,
Tonkin, I think.
Those aren't names, and those also aren't guys who have performed. Jonathan Loizaga going down, I think, completely killed that bullpen because, I mean, he was probably going to be, our setup man to Clay Holmes. You also, I mean, you have Lou Trevino, Tommy Canley, and Nick Burdi, and I guess Scott Efros all injured, which are 5 guys, not Loizaga because he's not returning this year, but 4 guys who, if they came back, if they all came back, I think you're feeling a lot more comfortable. But most of those guys probably aren't until like midsummer, late summer. Yeah. And even then, I mean, you don't know what you're going to get from some of them. So I think the Yankees are in a fine spot with the bullpen because their lineup and rotation is very strong, and that's what the trade deadline's for. So it's not good right now, but I think it can get better.
Yeah, Christian, I agree with everything you just said 110%. I think you summed it up perfectly. Look, I think the Yankees can get by right now with their bullpen. I mean, you could argue they are right now. The only thing I'm a little concerned about is we've seen guys sort of get overworked this year. But, when you look at that bullpen, you don't have like a 7th inning guy, and they lost Michael King. So you can't just pitch Ian Hamilton 2 innings every other day or something like that. Like, you can't do that. You do it once in a while, but you also have Ian Hamilton as like your setup guy for Clay Holmes. Like, what do they do in the middle innings? You know what I'm saying? Like in the playoffs, me and Christian, we talk a little bit over the topics before we go live. And, I use this as an example before we go live. 6th inning, runners on first and second, no one out. Who in a playoff game? Who are we bringing into the game? Caleb Ferguson? No, thank you. That. I feel like that's like a perfect example of why the Yankees need bullpen help because I don't trust someone like that coming in. I think the Yankees, obviously we got to see how these next few months play out, right? We have a long way to the trade deadline. It was trade August 1st, something like that, right? But I think the Yankees really do need to, start looking at relievers and start, preparing a little bit for the deadline, assuming they're in it, because I think they really need bullpen help. I think they really need to go out, get a couple relievers. I think they need to really get an elite reliever to really help them out. The only thing I'm concerned about going forward until then, Christian, is the usage. We've seen guys like Clay Holmes get used a lot, Ian Hamilton as well. What's going to happen there? We've seen the Yankees pick up and send down a lot of guys this year because they just need arms. They picked up Tonkin the other day. And look, you can't really just get someone now. I mean, you can't just like make a trade and, end of April. I mean, it's not going to happen. But I feel like the Yankees definitely need to look that way. And they're going to need some bullpen help because, it's kind of rare. It's kind of weird because, even when the Yankees were sort of like fringe playoff contenders. When you look at the 2016 team, for example, their strength was their bullpen. Remember, they had Betances, Miller, Chapman. 2017, their bullpen was phenomenal. They had Canley, Robertson, Chapman. I mean, their bullpen was loaded. 2022 as well. Their bullpen right now, not so loaded. You know what I mean? I think they're going to have to continue to find guys, continue to bring guys up. Try to work between the starters and the bullpen to, not eat some innings, but, fill innings there in different ways, because you don't want to overuse it and burn anyone's arm out. You know what I mean? So I sort of understand that, and it's tough for a manager because, you don't want to burn your closer out in we're not even till August or something like that. But I think right now in the early season, what me and Christian have picked up on, and many fans have picked up on as well, is that the Yankees do need some bullpen help, because you're looking at the bullpen right now. Christian went through the list. I don't know about bringing Caleb Ferguson in a big playoff game like that in a jam. Okay, so I think right now in the early season, that would be my red flag with this Yankees team. That would certainly be it, because I am concerned about the bullpen, going forward into the playoffs, something like that, unless they make changes. But I feel like right now they'll be okay.
Where do you think the Yankees bullpen ranks in terms of the 30 MLB teams?
30 MLB teams? This isn't like a power rank, or are we being ranked on ERA here?
By ERA, so yeah.
Okay. I'd actually say it's pretty good, which is kind of contradicting. Is it not good? Well, maybe it's bad.
I want to hear your guess first.
I don't know. I feel like it was always good, but now that I'm thinking about it, I'll say the Yankees have the 20th. That's not good. 20th.
They're 4.
4.
It is nitpicking though. Like there's other stat like bullpen ERA. I don't know if you could really go off that. Like I'm trying. So like if you go by like FIP or so expected FIP, the Yankees are 23. That's probably what I'd honestly use this early in the season for the bullpen. So it's kind of been.
I don't like that.
It's the results haven't been terrible. And the Yankees have also been very good. So like we're kind of nitpicking, and we're looking at assuming the Yankees are in the playoffs, would we feel comfortable with this bullpen? No. And I think that's a fair assessment. Just in terms of high leverage guys. It's been fine. The Yankees are up 5. They can get out perfectly, right? Caleb Ferguson, Victor Gonzalez, they'll eat innings fine. But it's kind of like those close games. We just need 1 or 2 more high leverage relievers to go to. So, as you said, and as the stats said, it hasn't been a big problem. If anything, you could argue it's been a strength.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know if it's sustainable. As good as Matt Blake is, and really the Yankees development, I think they just need to add some 1 or 2 guys at the deadline. So that's the bullpen. Maybe guys coming back will help that also.
Yeah, absolutely. You faked me out there. I thought it was good, and then you gave me a smirk. I was like, wait. And then I'm thinking of a Caleb Ferguson, outing, and I'm like, oh, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I thought it would inflate it.
Yeah, but I don't know. I actually
could you guess who's 30?
30? Crappy. Chicago, Miami.
Nah.
Tampa. Is it
Good
Tampa?
guess. Tampa's 27.
Ooh.
Phillies.
Wow.
Yeah. Almost 6. Yeah, wow. That's bad.
Yeah, that's the worst when you're a manager. And being a manager with a terrible bullpen, I mean, it's really just not you're always going to get blamed. You have no one to go to, and you lose sleep at night because it's a ticking time bomb. They all suck. I couldn't imagine being a manager with a terrible bullpen. it's just you're gonna get blamed for it. There's nothing you can really do.
That's been Boone before. I mean, there's been times like 21 where like the bullpen was like dog shit, and like there was no move he could have done that we would have been happy with.
Yeah, but you still gotta blame him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Could we argue Boone hasn't been bad this year? I mean,
could we argue? I mean, look, I mean, you look at his team. I think he's, yeah. Look, I mean, he's in a good spot. I'm not saying he's bad. I mean, there's some questionable things. I think it's just the, recurring things that us as fans don't like with Boone that frustrates us. But yeah, like for example, the Caleb Ferguson when he couldn't get anyone out. Look, Caleb Ferguson's last few outings actually pitched a lot better. But it's like, dude, just bring him in when the Yankees are up or down.
yeah.
So, like, then he can figure it out then, and then you put him back in a spot like that. So I think it's just like the reoccurring thing. If you look at his team, I mean, you really can't complain with Aaron Boone. I mean, it's frustrating. Look, I'm not like the biggest Boone fan, to be honest with you. I'm not like a huge Boone fan at all. But, you look at his team and he scored 36 runs the last 3 games. I think they have third, fourth best record in baseball, something like that. And they have the most amount of wins, tied for the most amount of wins between the Atlanta Braves, Cleveland Guardians for 19 wins. I mean, they're tied for first with the most wins in all of baseball. So, you can't like overly complain. But I think it's just the reoccurring things that get you frustrated, or I say he's bad. No. But everyone has their moments, especially how many games have we played so far? Like over 30, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, someone's going to make a mistake. What are we, 29 games? What are we, 19-10? So, 29 games. 29 games, a manager is going to make a mistake at some point. If I was the manager, I'd make some mistakes, definitely. Probably more than Boone's made right now, to be honest with you. But that's why I'm not the manager. I will be one day, but that's why I'm not the manager right now. It's going to be tough trying to get a job as a manager, considering I have 1 year of high school baseball experience. But crazier things have happened. So, one could dream, I guess. But I don't know. It's been interesting with Boone, and I'm sure at some point we'll have a rant or something. I know a ton of people were upset Friday. I wanted to be, and I was upset, but Christian, I wasn't like in that rant mode, and I was trying to get myself there. I couldn't get myself there. I don't know what's going on. I may need to go to the doctor.
Honestly, good. I mean, because the Yankees blow them out the next 2 days.
Yeah,
that would have aged bad.
It would have. I mean, my ones last year were just. I mean, looking back on it, just kind of appalled by my behavior at some of them. It's just
almost justified.
Yeah, some was justified. I think there was. I mean, last year was bad. I think one of my lowest moments of 2023 last year was when the Yankees got walked off by Baltimore. I think they lost like 1-0 or something. I think Santander homered. And then I was down the shore, and I was at my grandma's house down the shore. I went into the garage and thought it'd be a good idea to punch the fridge. It hurt so bad. Unfortunately, that's not. That's probably one of the better things I've done. Thrown things, broken things. It's frustrating, but I like where the Yanks are at right now. I think everyone has some concerns, right? Considering they kind of slowed down a bit from their hot start. But look, Christian, switch gears a little bit. This can't be underestimated. Big series starting tomorrow. 4 games against the Baltimore Orioles. Division rival. You only play them, 13 times, I believe. 13 times a season now. You want to have that head-to-head matchup. You're playing the Orioles on the road. The Orioles are 1 game out first place. They're tied in the loss column with the Yankees in the division. But Orioles got a really good squad. I mean, these are 2 heavyweights going at it in Baltimore. I'm excited for this series. I'm excited to see, the Orioles' young players, and I want to beat them. I want to beat them really bad because I'm sick of them winning 101 games when no one's under the age of 20, when everyone's under the age of 25. No, you're the Baltimore Orioles. Stop. I liked it better a few years ago when I didn't have to lose sleep over you. Now it's different. But I want the Yankees to go in there. I want a series win. I mean, I want a series win. I'm not asking for a sweep because I know that'd be really hard to do on the road, etc. But I want a series win, Christian. I think the Yankees be aggressive this series. I think they give it everything they have, and I think they really try to win this series and kind of make a statement early to the Orioles saying, "Hey, you won the division last year. You won 101 games, but we're the Bronx Bombers, and you're going to have to go through us in the East if you want this thing." So I think it's big for the Yankees to send a message early and really beat up on the Orioles.
Yeah. I don't think they're thinking the opposite. I'll say that. Yeah. 4-game series. I mean, just keep playing good baseball. The Orioles are good teams. I mean, that you could play great, and there's a good chance you could split. But yeah, I mean, lineups at a really good spot. Carlos Rodon gets the 4th game, I think, so that should be fun. But yeah, good series. Probably the best team the Yankees have played yet.
Yeah, I agree. And you think maybe coming into the season that'd be Houston, but they look wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. Nope. I saw a clip the other day on Ben Verlander's show. No, I was not watching the show. I saw it on my feed on Instagram. I wasn't watching the show, so don't get mad at me. I would never watch that garbage. Anyway, his partner or whatever, the girl Alex, she was saying that the last team to get off to the same start as the Astros, whatever they were, 7 and whatever. The last team to make the playoffs was the 1907 Braves or something, Boston Braves or something like that. And Ben Verlander was saying, no, the Astros are going to make the playoffs. So I don't know. But
I think they will.
You think the Astros will? You think they're going to figure it out?
I think they have a better chance to do it than not to do it. I mean, it's way too early in the season.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I could see it. But they were arguing back and forth. She was like, no, they're not making it. He was like, yeah. But I don't know. The Astros is an interesting one. But yeah, I mean, the Orioles, really good team. Yankees have obviously shown so far that they're a really good team. So they're going to go out there and they're going to duke it out. So it should be exciting to see. Yankees versus Orioles, the kind of rivalry renewed. Kind of reminds you of the early days. The Yankees dynasty years, right? Yankees and the Orioles facing each other, had those ALCSs, faced each other I think a couple times, and the rivalry was big then. Brawls, Darryl Strawberry, goes punches a guy in the dugout, right? That old school Yankees baseball. Other than that, the Orioles kind of been not really in it. And then especially you look last 5 years, I mean, they were atrocious. But they're back now, and the Yankees are, doing their thing. So, it's interesting to see, how teams come and go. And, the Orioles, they're back. So it's going to be interesting to see how that, matchup goes for the next few years or really years to come. The Orioles are set up. They have a lot of young players. Did what the Astros did. Atrocious for 5 seasons, get all those draft picks, draft a bunch of players with blonde hair and blue eyes, and I don't know. I don't know, but I mean, everyone's talking about it. It's really freaky how similar they are. They're all I don't know, but Jackson Holiday, won't be seeing him for any of you wondering. He got sent down, was batting 059 or something like that. Just really struggled getting called up to the big leagues. And, he's going to have to figure it out. So the Yankees will be missing him, won't be seeing him. So, I guess I'm excited about that. Or maybe I'm not. I mean, I don't really care one way or the other. But, yeah, big series in Baltimore. Yankees bats, put up 36 runs in the series, 15 runs in back-to-back days. I'm feeling good, Christian. I don't know really what more there is to say. And I think the Yankees play. Do they play the Tigers the end of the week?
Yeah, 3 games.
Yeah. Aren't you going to one of the games on Sunday?
Sunday, yeah, first game of the season.
First game of the season for Christian. So if you see him, say hi. That's on Sunday.
Yeah, and last year I was bad, so we'll see. We'll see what my luck is this year.
Oh, I was atrocious last year.
Everyone was bad last year. Yankees were bad last year. So
yeah, Christian, remember in 22, I get obviously me and Christian matured a little bit. I'm 18. I'm going to turn 19 this May. And, Christian's 18 too. We matured a little bit, but we used to get like stupid fights, and I used to like yell at him, telling him to stop going to games because we kept losing. So I do apologize for that, Christian. But yeah. So first game of the year for Christian, they're facing the Tigers back in the Bronx this weekend. I looked at the tickets for that series. It's definitely cheap. I don't think I'll be going to any games this week. I don't know. Maybe. You never know. But I don't know. I don't think it's gonna fit this week. But Yankees do play 4 games against the Orioles. That's what the focus is, and the times are interesting. I think like every game is at like 6:30, 6:40, something like that. I think Thursday might be like a day game. But yeah, some weird start times, but I like it. I like the 6:30 start time. It's like when you just finish dinner, boom, you turn the Yanks on. Go game's over at like 9:30, you turn on a movie, you go to bed. I love it. So I'm excited for that, but I don't know. It was good series overall. I think the Yanks obviously could have done some more things that we would have liked. I wouldn't say it's perfect at all, but I have to say, after splitting with the A's and losing a really tough game on Friday, I think the rebound was exceptional. So I give the Yankees a ton of credit there, and I'm really happy they went into Milwaukee, took a series. Milwaukee's a good team, and definitely excited about that. I was very happy to see that, and now I'm on to Baltimore, so I'm content, and I'm ready to see what the Yanks can do in Baltimore.
Me too. Thanks for joining. Peace.
Peace.